we had such problems getting things going today, but we're all here, so welcome. Please excuse my dress. I'm at a home office in Pretoria and it is way, way cold. The sun's shining outside, but I have to have all sorts of stuff on to keep me warm and functioning. Anybody in Gauteng probably understands. I'm sure you're in the same boat.
Yes, and here on my side of the world, I am in short sleeves. It's been hot. The mist has come in, but it's been lovely summer holiday with some east wind blowing. And yes, we live in different parts of the world, don't we? Good afternoon, VPEs, and welcome to this VPE training. Normally, we just have a short Friday afternoon lunchtime punch training. Today's training is going to, and the people that are assisting with the trainings normally are myself, but I am going to be traveling. So for a long time, you will not see me. And Lynette and Karen, I almost said Karen Kremer, Karen Levi-Strauss. I wonder how Karen Kremer is these days. So how do we go about it? We have there's a whole entire checklist of what VPEs need to learn. And when you do handover, you're actually supposed to go through that checklist to make sure people understand what that is. So today I'm handling the aspect of strategizing. And first, I'm going to just talk to you about why we strategize. And then I'm going to tell you how we more or less make it happen. But remember, I'm sharing with you from my experience. It doesn't mean that there are some things in Toastmasters that are required. You've got to do it, and this is how you have to do it. There are other things that we can find what works for us. So I'm going to share with you what worked for me, and from there you can pick out what could potentially work for you. But the musts, I'll tell you, and the ones you can then deal with by yourself. So let's have a look at the musts. As a VPE, it is our job to ensure that every member in the club is as fast as possible on the education program. And when they come on the program and they select a path, that's when it registers with Toastmasters International that these people are path, they've selected paths. But if they haven't selected a path yet, then Toastmasters becomes a little bit weary and think, hey, these people have been a Toastmaster for so long and they haven't selected a path, something is wrong. It doesn't mean something is wrong. And I'll tell you why. I have now been VPE with the new pathway systems, which came out in 2018. And I was prior, I've been a Toastmaster since 2001. And in the legacy, when you became a Toastmaster, you were given two manuals, a leadership manual and a speech manual with 10 projects in and speeches. And that was quite simple for people to follow. They just took their manual, read through it, the evaluation was in the manual, they presented their project, and they were evaluated. And everything was together in one booklet. It was simplified. The focus was on read the instructions and deliver the project accordingly. Then when we went onto the pathways, which is an excellent education program, there is so much more current day value to it. So I'm not criticizing that. But what I did discover in my journey was a lot of people were technology challenged, either because of access or they just don't know. So in the end, I decided to walk a different route. You are able to. So what happened is last year, there was a time that the websites were down when they were up, when they were changing to the new website. So I downloaded and I placed it into the VPE Google Drive. I downloaded the entire new level 1. That means the PDF of every project is there, any additional paperwork they have to help you, guidelines, etc., plus the evaluation form. each project is in its own folder. I placed it in there, and I will guide you to how you can get the links as well. So when this took place, I just uploaded it there because that was a time where we brought some new people on board, and then how would they be able to access and what would they be able to do? And I did it for them at that time. And then I realized, what I can do, and from then I like to do this, is I give a new member the booklet and the evaluation form, and I help them and guide them to go through it. It's easy for them just to read what is taking place. Once, and then they come and do their icebreaker. So there's no computer stress for them whatsoever. The only thing that I do is I help each one of them to log into Toastmasters, because some people are a little bit more, they like to discover for themselves, and they will be able to jump in there and find things for themselves. But a huge majority don't. So for me, the big thing is give them access to their Toastmasters. They've paid for it. And if they want to search around there and find and discover things, they will learn a lot that way, and it's fine. But if they are not that way inclined, then I'm going to help them focus on the education. So because it doesn't matter which project which path you start, every single level 1 of every single path is exactly the same projects for level 1. They are all compulsory. So I merrily just give them a project, schedule them, and then when it's their time for scheduling again, I give them the next project. When they have come to the end, I then have a session with them, and there might be 2 or 3 of others of them that joined at the same time. And now I have an onboarding for them in terms of pathways. One of the things that I do early is when I just share with them how to go on board, I launch the assessment tool on my PC, and I ask them to just complete it on my PC. And there we decide, and then they can decide, okay, yes, I want to do team collaborations or effective coaching or presentation mastery, whatever they want to do. I jot it down like that's what they want to do. And I also guide them, if that's what you want to do, make sure that every project that you do feeds into that, because that's the direction you want to go, and that's how you want to grow yourself. So this is critical to help every new member get started. And as I said, when they come to the last project, then I would sit with them and I will show them how to log in and do the assessment first and the assessment at the end and close it so that it can give you the little check mark that that project is done. I show them how to do that. And then I tell them, okay, now you do it. So this is something that can happen online or in person with me. It doesn't matter. And they do that. And then they go and do that for every project. And this is a major learning experience for them because they do it a few times until they get to the end of the level. Now, we have discussed, I've seen the evaluation form. So what I normally suggested people do, I tell them, buy a 30-page flip file. Because I had in my memory, when we did the legacy, we had that one booklet and the evaluation forms, the projects and everything was in one booklet. It made my life so much easier. When I went to a meeting, it was one booklet to take. And that's what I did with Pathways. I saw that if you have a 30-page folder, you are able to put all the projects for one path in there. So I now have 6 of those booklets because I'm busy with my path, with the 6th path at the moment. And then they just put their speech on the one side, the evaluation form on the other side, and they have everything together. Because when they come to the end of a level, you want to ask them, please send me your evaluation forms. If you are online most of the time, or if you are at the meeting and they have done their last speech in a level, they can come to you and they can quickly show you all their evaluation forms. Why are we looking at the evaluation forms? Who thinks we should be looking at the evaluation forms? And what do you think we should be looking for? Please, let's have some engagement here. Mhm. Okay, so
Everybody's mouth is full. They
I
can't
was
speak.
going to say the same thing. Everybody's mouth is full. Tonga, you're unmuted. Go for it. Toanga, sorry. No, Taonga. No, help me.
Say, just come again. Taonga.
Taonga, thank you. Okay, so the question
Hello, can you
is,
get me?
yes, I can
Hello?
hear you.
The Bluetooth device is
What's the question?
The question is that why would we want, as VPEs, why would we want to have a look at their evaluation forms prior to finalizing a level for one of our club members?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Gani. The immediate thought that comes to me for that question, for why a VPE would want to look at the evaluation forms first, is just to make sure the member has really completed their project and that they've been evaluated. And also you want to check for the quality of the evaluations to see if maybe the evaluator had done a great job, because sometimes an evaluator maybe might give a certain evaluation maybe that is maybe lukewarm or doesn't meet the standard, and you want maybe the member to redo a particular project.
Okay, that is great statements you make there. Let's work on those statements. Thank you so much, Taonga. In Toastmasters, if you have a look at the question and answer, what do they call it? The Q&A or the, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. In particular, they talk about that Toastmasters is not a pass or fail program. So you can't fail anybody. Nobody has the right to fail anybody. So that's important. But I love your approach, Taonga, because if somebody really wants to grow themselves, how do we handle it then if it's not a pass and failure system? To stay within the Toastmasters parameter, but still help the member to grow themselves well. My suggestion there would be, I would normally say, let's say the person did everything well, except the purpose of the project. They didn't do the purpose of the project, okay? And that is quite a critical thing. Then I would say to them, you have, in terms of presenting, you've done an excellent presentation here. All the major parts of presentation are extremely well done. But when I look at what the project required and what you did, it feels to me like this project's requirements you didn't quite reach that. If you would like to grow yourself, I would suggest you either look at how you could reapply this exact same speech and make it answer to this project's requirements, or you can take a totally new project. But in the essence of, if you're really serious about wanting to grow yourself, that would be my recommendation, that you repeat it. We must just always be careful that we don't treat it like, one day an evaluator said to me, this is not acceptable in Toastmasters and you need to redo that speech. And the reason why she wanted me to redo that speech is because I asked somebody else to write for me on a flipboard because my handwriting is so bad, and I had to, it was one of those projects. So we have to also we have to train our evaluators to create that safe spot. Now, I've shared all of this background for you in order for us to look at the sheet. Now, I'm going to take my sheet that I have done for my club. I'm going to, before I go into that, I'll just also say this, that my one club meets every first and third Monday of the month, and the other club meets every second and fourth Monday of the month. And I was VPEs in both clubs for many years. And this year that I'm PQD, I'm not a VPE anywhere. It's like, what? So I'm district's VPE at the moment and not any club's VPE. Okay, so in creating this form, I have created those templates because every time people ask me for it. So I'm just going to guide you as to what my template looks like. And if you want to use my template, what you need to change. Okay, here goes. Let's look at the template. So this is last year's one because it has data in it now, which makes it easier. Okay, so I am going to, you will just see that there's the January, it's January 23, February 23, and then you will see it's Monday. MMN is for Monday, and then maybe I can just make it a little bit, oh, it's going to fight with me if I go, oops, sorry. That's when you use your fingers to try and enlarge and make smaller. Hey, that did not work. Let's try and be more gentle about this. Okay, if you are dizzy, forgive me. Here it is. And so you can see the M's are for Mondays. And then in particular, this was used because the club that we were busy doing it with was the 2nd and the 4th Monday of the month. And we sometimes used the 5th Mondays for speakathons or something like that. And that's why it's like that. And that's how we filled it in. For the other one, that is the 1st and the 3rd Monday, the 1st is white and the 3rd is white, and then the other 2 are gray, to just make it easy for us to spot our Mondays. And if we want to do a meeting on another time, on another Monday, it is available there for us to do. Okay, that's how it works. And then you can see over December, we just colored a few more in because people won't be having meetings at that time and when we started our meeting. But to help you understand, I would have my people's names, and then I would put down the paths that they are busy working on. And I started with the first column where we didn't have a meeting. I just added where they need to start their journey, okay? And you need to, this is something that you would need because we as VPEs, for the club success plan, we need to be able to say, okay, John, Mary, and Sue will be, and Tim will be able to be the 4 level 1s that will be able to allow us to earn our first DCP goal. And if we do it like this, you can see here, let me try and make that bigger for you. You can see when it comes to level 4, it's green. And there the level 3 is green because I made the last project of a level, I colored it green for me to remember, okay, that's the end of a level. And then I can go down to the bottom of my form where I created a place so that I can indicate which levels the different people will be able to do. So, and then as I go ahead with doing this planning, the way I handle it is when a meeting takes place and I've scheduled some speeches for somebody, like here, this person was scheduled and this person was scheduled, but they didn't speak. So only the ones that speak, I just put a red square around it, and then I put a red square around the date. And then I know at a glance, I have updated the actuals so that if a person needs to start a new whatever, they can do that. Because here you can see, this is a good one. He was working on these, and I had already previously scheduled it, and he got up to here in August 22, but this was still an old one. So I can just ignore it. And what I'm trying to say is not to try and make you confused. When you sit down, you plan for the whole year, and you don't have to update everything clinically as you go along. That's what I'm trying to say to you. The actuals are the ones that I just quickly put a red square around, so that when they speak a little bit further later, I just look back to the last red square, I know what it is, and I change that for the next number, so that you don't have to look at it as a lot of work to keep updating, because we don't have time. But because you have to sit and schedule once in order to give your what you need for the club success plan, here's your tool to use. And then after you've done that, you just twig it as you go along without having to do a lot of work. So this is the basics. Now I'm going to share with you, how do I get to know it's 1.4 or 3 and please note the 3, I call it 3.1, but you know it's not a point, it's a little comma at the top. And I use it specifically because if you use 3.1 or something like that, because it's Excel spreadsheet, it wants to add numbers and it wants to do all kinds of things. And that is the character. There's a little squiggly thing like that, and there's that exclamation character. They are on the same key. I will do a snapshot of that and I'll put it in WhatsApp so that you can see what I mean. I use that because that never interferes with the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so this is where you schedule. What else is on the spreadsheet? I want to go to a DTM road. Now, I've got an example DTM here of mine that my first pathways DTM that I did to show you. I have a document like this for any of your members that are close to DTM. The first block here tells you what they need to do. And once they've done it, they can put their dates in here to know they've completed it. And here are the 2 paths, and they can put their projects and the dates and everything down here nicely for them. But on the road to DTM, I'll use the blank one. I'll enlarge it now and I'll help you to see what I've done. So the first column here are our levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, and 5. This one still has the old, I've got a new one because this is the last year's one, and this level 1 changed. My new one has this change to the new level 1. So you'll see that on my new level 1 document, this is changed. It now has the icebreaker and all the new level 1 projects in there. So what you just see down here is that I want to go specifically to something like this. When I label them, I would label it like in level 4, you would have 2 projects. You would have the compulsory project, and then you will have an elective. But some electives have a part 1 and a part 2. So that's why my projects are 1.1, icebreaker, 1.2, that one, 1.3, 1.4. Then I go to 2.1. Can you see that? And those are the path-specific speeches that are compulsory. And then there would be, it will show you where the electives are. So when you have a look at EasySpeak, if any of you use EasySpeak, it would have all kinds of numbers. And I just try to make it as simple as possible because you are required in level 1 to have so many projects. Level 2, so many projects. Level 3, so many projects. And I just label them 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 for simplicity. And this is where I got that from. One other thing that I want you to see, because we're almost out of time here, is I have made on the sheets approvals where I've put down people's names, and when they completed something, I indicated when I approved it for Basecamp and for Club Central, because we have to go to Basecamp and Club Central to do it. Now, you can say, oh, I can't do all of that. You don't have to. This is something you don't have to do. I did it for me because you know what happened, and you'll see the ones in red. You'll see the one says 19 July, 8 September. The other one says 15 March and 8 September. This one was in one year and the other one was in another year because there was a situation that took place. And I went and I approved it and I told them to do something and it didn't happen and all kinds of things happened. So there was a story to it. And one person's is what I actually forgot. And this helped me when I came back. I saw, oh, I only did the one. I didn't do the other one because I was interrupted. So this is for me to make sure I'm doing my job as a VPE. And all I do is here at the back, when they show me the evaluation forms, I just put the ticks in there and the date they gave it to me so that I know I have seen all of that. I'm happy because as a VPE, we need to apply integrity. And this is my part of integrity. I have seen it. I know it's done. everything is ready, I can do that. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is, if you are on Easy Speak, I have this tab here that works around Easy Speak. And it's just a quick, this is for everybody to know what they need to do. So we say, the day after the meeting, the secretary, because the secretary's job is to have some kind of a record of who were the visitors, who attended the meeting, all of that. The secretary goes onto Easy Speak, and because they have the details of people, they upload any new people that were at that meeting. That's their job. They are taught how to do it. Once they've done that, they notify because the club officers normally have a group together. And once they have done that, they just notify it is done. Some clubs have a meeting role. For every meeting, they put all the role players in there. They find that easy because some role players come from outside of the club or whatever the case may be. And then a role players group is quite easy. And then the secretary just notifies that it's done the day after, so that the Toastmaster of the day can now go and update the actuals, because it's their job to close off the meeting with the actuals. We need to make sure that they take up that responsibility. They must make sure that the title is in there, that it's the correct speech, the correct project, all of those things are correct, and then they can close the meeting. Once they have done that, now the secretary can, and then they also say, I've done that. Then the secretary can just print out the agenda and it's updated for the minutes book and everything else. And the VPE can update their planner. And there are other items and ideas in here for you to have a look at. And I don't want to go further because we always like to finish early. So here is a planning sheet that you can use to be able to plan for your meetings a bit better. I will give those in the description of the group. I want to do one last thing to help all of you that are here right now. Let me just quickly go to the VPE group and get that ready. And then I'll share my screen on that. And that's the last thing for today. I'm taking you to WhatsApp. Okay, so in WhatsApp, here we are at the VPE group. If you click on the VPE group icon, I just want to move it up that you can see. If you click on the VPE group icon, whether it's on your phone or on your PC, then you can go where it says read more. You click to open that up, and then you will see there is our training link. You can just click on that anytime that you want to come to training. Then there's the group invite. If you need to invite any other VPEs, you just copy the group invite from there. And here is our Google Drive. So I'm going to click on that so that it can take you to the Google Drive. And then I'll just walk you through the Google Drive quickly. I don't think you can see the Google Drive. I have to just do a reshare while it opens up. So here's the Google Drive. And there are Basecamp tutorials in there. There's some Easy Speak information there for you. There are all the evaluations that are needed for projects if you need to have a quick access of evaluation. There are Google Forms that we have spoken about from time to time that you can go and make a copy of, and then you use your copy. Make sure of that. There is some new VPE orientation things that I've done. And there's the new level 1 projects and future. I see your hand. I'll give you opportunity now. And they are, every training that we do will come into a folder with a title, and there are all the bits and pieces to that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And future, I did see your hand. You can ask your question.
Thank you, Granny B. I wanted you to reshare again your screen and just show us how to make a copy of the
Google form. That's a good idea. Yes, let's go there. Let's do that. Let's do that quickly. Good idea. Let's go to Google Forms. You can all see the Google Forms? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So here's the one that you're going to use next. The Club Success Survey. Okay, and there's the member interest survey. These are the two that VPE uses. Actually, the secretary normally uses the Club Success one, but because I've made it, I share it with secretaries. So if I open it, now I hope you get to see it when it opens. Just tell me, do you see the form?
Yes, the form is visible. Yes, we can see it.
Great. So now that you can see the form, you go to here where it says, no, sorry, not sorry. There's now things in my way. Let me just try and move. Let me make that one. I'm struggling here. Everything's in my way. Okay. Let's go there. Make a copy. So you go to make a copy and then tell it where it needs to go to, because now this one is in my Google Forms folder. So you can tell it to go where you want it to go. You click in their folder and then it will give you, and then you can go like that. And now it will give you other places where you can go until you get to your own place where you want to file your copy of it. And can you see it says copy of copy? And then you label it yourself and you use your copy.
Thank you. Thank you. Very clear.
Okay. It's always much easier if we can just have a quick show and tell, isn't it? Any other questions? Oh, while I'm here, maybe I'll just give you, we way over our time. So if you need to go, I'm sorry, you're welcome to go. But let me just, while we are here, tell you a cool feature with Google Forms. You see, with Google Forms, if you look at the sponsors, you can click it to an Excel spreadsheet. And that helps a lot when you need to be able to consolidate things, etc. So do make sure that you link your form to an Excel spreadsheet. Any other questions? And then we call it a day for today. There are messages. Please share the spreadsheet. Yeah, it will be there. It will come. It will come. Would like to have, yep, spreadsheet will be there. I will tell you in the WhatsApp group where you can find everything. So all that happens is after the training, the recording and everything is gathered together, anything that we used. You saw it said the VPE 01, VPE 02. So today's training is going to be VPE 01. So whatever is in VPE 01 at the moment is last year. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to make it new according to today. So anything that we share on a training, the resources, whatever there is. Oh, maybe I should show you one more thing regarding that. This is critical. Let's just go back to, sorry, let me just go and see if it's open. There it is. And sorry. I think this is very important for you to be able to see this. Where's Zoom now? Okay, so that I can share. Okay, here is the last important thing for you to learn. In the VPE trainings that we do, I'm going to go to the one that I know has a lot of stuff in, which would be speech contest, okay? I'm going to open speech contest. Can you see there's a lot of stuff in there? And you'll say, oh, what do I do here? Where do I go? Every VPE folder will have a 007 outline and links for you. Just click on that. When you click on that one, it's the outline of what we shared today with any live links, and all those live links will link to the documents in the folder, or it will take you to something straight onto Toastmasters International website. And it's normally 1 to 2 pages, the outline and links, so it's not a lot to read. So that's how you use the VPE folders and the information that's there. And with that, we are so over our time today. Very sorry about that. If there are any other questions regarding this, you are welcome to ask in the chat, sorry, not the chat of Zoom, the WhatsApp, and we can continue the conversation there in case people need to log off and go back to work. Other than that, Lynette, is there anything you wanted to add?
I've got a question.
You can ask your question, Sipho.
Oh, no, I'm not sure if I missed it, but I wanted to know how we get access to the Google Drive.
Okay.
Or are you still going to share all of that? And are we going to be invited to it's another VPE
No.
WhatsApp group?
No. You maybe missed it. But I'll give you verbally what it is. You click on the icon of our WhatsApp group, the VPE WhatsApp group. You click on that icon. And then in the description of the group, it will say read more, click or more. Just click on that to open it up. And it will say there Google Drive and link. You just click on that and then you have access to it. Okay.
Oh, yes. I think that's where the problem is. I actually got this invite via the Area S3 Division 3 group, and it wasn't a designated VPE group, but I can take that offline and just.
Okay. So hold on, Sipho, just here, take this down. +264 812 515851. This is my WhatsApp. Contact me directly and I will get you onto the VPE group. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Lynette, over to you.
I was just going to ask that you go through how to find the resources again, but Sipho beat me to that. So you have covered that. And there is in the resources, there is a link to be able to join the group. So if you are in the group and you want to bring a friend or your successor or somebody else, you can send them that link so that they can join the group. Our VPE group is probably one of the biggest groups that I'm aware of. It's got over 250 people in it. I'm not in it right now. There's huge numbers of people in this group and they stay because of the value that they find and how they can find the information.
Thank you, Lynn.
So thank you very much. I think we've done well.
Yes. And with that, I wish you all an amazing VPE week and we look forward to seeing you next Friday at 1:15. Now the links are sorted out and we should be able to get hold of you. Really cool and great. And with that, we say au revoir, bye-bye, till next week.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
please put your camera on and say goodbye and wave and make a noise when you leave. Just let me know you were here. Bye, bye, bye. There we go. Thank you, Ruth. There we go. Sipho. Nontle. Got it.
Yay.
Nontle. I got it. Sentai.
Yes.
There we go. There we are.
Hi, Vandita. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yes, Tonga. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And with that, I shall end the meeting. Thank you so much, Lynette. You are just such a blessing always. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Sorry, you know, even I'd forgotten the meeting link was in the group description. So I was also having a panic about where to find it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's amazing how stale you get.
It was
Yeah.
6 months later. What, 7 months later? Here we are. Okay. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye,
everybody.
Tawanda. Bye.
Bye.